Iowa football spring football is fully underway in Iowa City. We'll talk about some news that broke recently involving an Iowa wide receiver and why it's significant moving forward. The decision from Brody Brecht to give up football to fully pursue his baseball career. We'll talk about it in just a second. But first, I want to remind you to check out Iowa Floor Covering, iowafloorcovering.com/DIY. They've got this special going on right now. Their Tough Core Click Together 4.5 millimeter waterproof vinyl flooring available at $269 per foot with self-installation. They've been a big part of our Iowa sports coverage here in the past several months. Be sure to support Iowa Floor Covering and this great self-installation deal for flooring. Visit iowafloorcovering.com/DIY and Ascent Nutrition. Boy, check out this stuff, folks. All of their products at goascentnutrition.com. 15% off with this code Hawkeyes. But right now, they've got their new lion's mane mushroom that recently dropped. It's uniquely cultivated from selective strains verified through genetic analysis testing. It contains both mycelium and fruiting body constituents for maximum benefits. It's grown right here in the U.S. Check out the positive effects of their lion's mane mushroom. And by the way, it goes great with yogurts and different types of smoothies. Great stuff, folks. Visit goascentnutrition.com to learn more and complete your purchase and use that code Hawkeyes to receive 15% off your order, courtesy of Ascent Nutrition. So, Hawkeye wide receiver Brody Brecht announcing via Twitter that he is fully pursuing baseball, which means he'll be walking away from the game of football. And frankly, I saw this break. I wasn't shocked by it. Timing wise, you didn't know when this was going to happen. But when you saw it break, at least when I saw it break, I was proud of Brody Brecht. To me, this is a decision that is best for him. And anybody who understands where his career is headed understands why you would not continue to try to split your attention or take your attention away from a sport where he's got a chance to be a future star. And certainly, he's already a star at this level. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in the country. And let's be honest, the wear and tear that being a college football player takes on you could easily derail something like that. So let's read Brody Brecht's statement that he released to the public here a few days ago. This is what Brody Brecht told Hawkeye fans. He says, and I quote, "I want to say thank you. Thank you to the great Hawkeye fans for your unwavering support. Thank you to the coaches and staff of the Hawkeye football program for giving me a chance to fulfill my childhood dream as part of this incredible program. Thank you to my football teammates for a lifetime's worth of great memories. Thank you to my friends and my family for their unwavering support and love. Thank you to God for the blessings of my life and for the clarity to make the choice I've made. Football is my first love, but in the past few years, baseball has become my true passion. With that said, I have decided to step away from football to focus full-time on my college baseball career. I want to be great at baseball and hope to play Major League Baseball in the future. I believe putting my focus fully on baseball is the best way for me to achieve that goal. Go Hawkeyes, Brody Brecht." So again, not surprising news when it broke. I'd been talking about this for quite some time. I think a lot of people have been talking about it for quite some time. When you have a guy who's throwing 100-mile-per-hour fastballs in college, it's hard to imagine him sticking with a career that features time spent away from the sport and focused on football. Remember, he did play a lot last year for the Iowa Hawkeye football team. Iowa was suffering with depth at wide receiver, and I believe Brecht even started some games. It's incredible when you think about it because, remember, he didn't play a whole lot last spring because of his baseball focus. And when you're trying to split focus between your college baseball career and your college football career, in addition to your academic obligations, I just think you're not doing either sport any favors. And we saw a similar storyline with Connor McCaffrey on the basketball side. Remember, there was hype around his baseball career heading to college, certainly not to the level of Brody Brecht. And of course, Connor tried to focus on both sports and eventually decided to give basketball his full attention. And I think some people looked at that and said, well, that was the wrong decision. He had a better chance of going pro playing baseball. I don't know that Connor McCaffrey ever really had a great shot at being a pro baseball player long term. Maybe someone else who's a baseball expert would tell me otherwise. Brody Brecht is in a different league, and making this decision sooner rather than later will do him much benefit. And frankly, I think Connor McCaffrey's decision to pursue basketball will end up doing him more good than harm because, look, I don't think anybody who watches the game can possibly deny that Connor McCaffrey is probably going to be a really good college basketball coach someday, and he's probably got an opportunity to be on a staff this upcoming season. And so him focusing fully on basketball for the long term probably was in his best interest. And certainly this hurts Iowa football's depth at wide receiver, but it will be in the best interest. I believe it'll be in the best interest of Brody Brecht. So congratulations to Brody. Big decision. As he said, football was a first love for him. And let's recall that he and Arlen Bruce, teammates in Ankeny, came here. Now both are gone within a couple of years. So that's just the nature of college football these days with the transfer portal. And this is obviously a very unique situation. Both guys had really good potential. Brody Brecht, I remember coming out of high school, I thought, boy, this kid's got good size, fairly highly touted kid at that wide receiver position. But again, nothing compared to the jump he's made on the mound this year. So how does this affect Iowa's depth at receiver? It's certainly a blow because adequate bodies at that position have been rare and have been hard to come by for Kirk Ferentz and company. You look at the depth chart this spring, they are thin, 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 and no different than what we said last fall. Seth Anderson did transfer in from Charleston Southern. He's been banged up with an injury. Jacob Bostic's been banged up with an injury. This is his redshirt freshman year. You've got Reese Osgood, who's a walk-on. Jack Johnson's a walk-on. Graham Friedrichson's a walk-on. Alec Wick is a walk-on. He's, I'm sure, getting lots of run this spring. We know Nico Ragaini. Boy, imagine if he hadn't come back for an extra year. Where would they be this spring? He is back, which is huge. But boy, after Nico Ragaini, you're playing a bunch of walk-ons. Deontay Vines is one guy. Shouldn't miss Deontay. And as far as we're aware, he is healthy. So between Deontay Vines and Nico Ragaini, those are your two guys this spring. And we'd already talked about this. We'd speculated about them potentially hitting the portal again after spring practice concludes. I think the Brecht decision just further solidifies that. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I think they were going to do that anyways. My guess is they will get one or two guys via the portal. I think the safer guess is one. But boy, even if you just get one, you better hope Seth Anderson and Jacob Bostic get healthy. Certainly, Seth being out, I think, hurts you even more so. But all these guys are working with a new quarterback in Cade McNamara. So health will be of utmost importance, not only throughout spring, but as we hit fall camp. Watch for this name, folks. Watch for Dominic Blaylock. Don't be surprised if you see Iowa make a run at the former Georgia wide receiver who has dealt with some serious knee injuries during his career, but has also had some good moments for the Bulldogs, the national champion Bulldogs. He is still in the transfer portal. We'll see if they pursue him. I'm sure he's going to be on the list of a lot of schools, already is on the list for a lot of major schools, but he is a big name that's out there currently via the transfer portal. And there will be more guys that enter, folks. I know some of these guys, you could argue, will be entering after spring because they are buried on the depth chart, buried on their respective depth chart. And that is a fair rebuttal. But Iowa really doesn't have a choice in the matter here. They're going to have to go to the portal at receiver and, again, hope that Nico Ragaini, Deontay Vines can stay healthy and they'll get some production out of some young guys. Don't forget, they do have three guys coming in the freshman class: Alex Mota, Dayton Howard, and Jarrett Bowie. But, boy, you don't want to be depending on a true freshman to make a big jump in fall camp, none of which enrolled early. Appreciate you tuning in for another segment, folks. Wanted to just hop on and briefly give you my take on the Brody Brecht situation. I'm happy for Brody making this decision. Was not a big surprise, but it does impact Iowa moving forward. I think in general, it just gives Iowa clarity about where they need to go at that position and some needs in the portal. So we shall see what they do. We're certainly not done talking about spring football. Plenty of topics ahead. Of course, the focus has been basketball. The Iowa women in the Final Four this Friday against South Carolina. Don't forget, I'll have post-game coverage for you right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm following the Hawkeyes and the Gamecocks in the biggest game in Iowa women's basketball history. Friday night tip-off at 8 p.m. on ESPN. We'll talk to you live following the game right here from the Hawkeye of the Storm.